You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Just so you understand why we don't take these news conferences live. We just missed Dr. Fauci. We'll try to pull his clips up. Go to my iPad. Sam Stein just tweeted this. He's with the Daily Beast. He said, Trump just now touting 3.5 million tests completed is a weird boast because on March 4th, Mike Pence pledged 4 million tests by the end of that week. In fact, if you see the bottom of this, the White House promised 27 million coronavirus tests by the end of March, but just hit 1 million. So here we are in the middle of April, and they're saying, hey, 3.5 million tests, when y'all said we're going to have 4 at the end of 1 week. Let's talk about what's happening on the business side. Facebook is offering $100 million in cash grants and ad credits to help during the coronavirus pandemic. Up to 30,000 eligible small businesses in more than 30 countries where they operate will be able to receive the grant. Now, to be eligible to apply, you must be a for-profit company, have between 2 and 50 employees, have been in business for over a year, have experienced challenges from COVID-19, be in or near a location where Facebook operates. Now, they have, now if you go to facebook.com/business/boost/grants. You can see the information, and they have it based upon also cities, and I think it's like April 18th. If you're in New York City and Seattle, then there's another date for San Francisco, and then there's another date, April 22nd, for the rest of the cities. And so again, if you're a small business, put it back up. You can apply for these grants. The folks at Facebook sent this to me, facebook.com/business/boost/grants. Now, we've been talking about the PPP program, which Congress passed that $350 billion to help small businesses. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, announced today it is out of money for firms seeking loans. They said in a statement, quote, the SBA is currently unable to accept new applications for the Paycheck Protection Program based on available appropriations funding. Similarly, we're unable to enroll new PPD lenders at this time. The statement comes as lawmakers on Capitol Hill are wrangling over replenishing the program. Now, here's the other issue that we're dealing with. I'm going to talk about this with my next guest, John Hope Bryant, the CEO of Operation Hope. This was set up for small businesses. Politico, we talked about it yesterday, reported that Potbelly and Ruth Chris Steakhouse have received the maximum, remember, for this program of $10 million. That Potbelly and Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 chain restaurants, were able to qualify under this program. Does that sound like a small business to you? Let's bring in John Hope Bryant, with CEO of Operation Hope. John, you came on the show. You talked about what was important for African Americans. Obviously, this was a huge program, $350 billion. Congress is now realizing that that wasn't enough money.
Correct. Yeah. So first of all, Roland, thanks for continuing to be a voice for all of us. Which topic? And by the way, Dr. Regina Benjamin, who is a dear friend of mine, served on the Operation Hope board for years and is doing incredible work in the South. Is just a beacon and a light for our community. Former Surgeon General. So obviously, you're showing enormous great taste in having her on. Which thing do you want to cover first, Roland? Because, you know,
first and foremost, the fact that they announced today that the program has run out of money. They're not processing applications. They're not even pulling in more banks. I'll just give you an example. Northern Trust is my bank. I don't have a loan with any bank. That's who I bank with. They've applied for the program, haven't even heard back whether they got accepted. So, we can't even file because with this program, you got to have a bank to actually go through to file for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know, I don't know in which direction we should go first. I'm very rarely at a loss for words, but I both am sharing in your frustration about all that we're not getting, and I'm also frustrated that we didn't go get the thing that was right in front of us. That's the biggest giveaway program of the federal government ever. It was free money, effectively. I know because I helped design some part of the program, as you know. and we just weren't ready. Now, I guess I can say this on your show. I'll frame it because it's who could be watching. Was it a crap show? You don't want to say something else. Of course it was a crap show. The federal government stood up the 10th largest bank in America in 30 days, 20 days. Of course it's a mess. Ready, fire, aim, programs changing every 28 seconds. Nobody's happy. But, they did push out, 1 point whatever million loans. The 2/3 of the loans are $150,000 or less. I know I checked myself. I couldn't find out what the ethnic race was because they didn't put that on the form. I'm sure that was not an accident, but can't figure out what race it is. But at least 2/3 of the loans are below $150,000. And, the folks who work for Ruth Chris Steakhouse are going to be mostly working class people who you and I know. So I don't have a problem with that, actually. The problem I have is I'm convinced that we did not get a lion's share of these loans for a range of reasons that frustrate me. I'm not sure if it's even helpful to.
Well, I think. Well, here's the deal. Here's what. First of all, look, like my brother, he works with the Houston Restaurant Association, the Texas Restaurant Association. He was sending me text messages because he was hearing from a number of their clients, and there were a number of people who did apply. I remember reading a story, and there was a guy, and I think it was out of Wisconsin, and he was on the phone line, trying to get information. And I think the story said that there were 17,500 people who were ahead of him. Here's what I think the folks in Congress should have learned from this. It's a whole lot of damn small businesses in the United States.
30 million.
And
a third of them are minority small business. Go ahead.
And I think what they also should have learned is that, look, you can't be talking about open back up, get back going, this whole deal like that, and not realizing that those small businesses, they are the economic engine of this country. And I think what happens a lot, John, is that when we talk about business in America, it's sort of like when we talk about mega churches, people love to go, oh, the mega churches, they cause all the problems, when mega churches represent only 4% of all churches in America. Because we think big means everybody works there, when in fact, that's just really not it. It's the aggregate of the small businesses that you got to pay attention to.
Yeah. And we now know that 40% of people who work on hourly wage, who look like us mostly, are now the secondary responders who are allowing for everybody else to stay at home. They're delivering packages. They are stocking shelves. They are working in hospitals. They are the backbone of this nation right now. And they look like us, and they're at higher risk of infections because they're not socially distancing at home or at work. But that's another topic. Back to your topic. I think that there's going to be a lot more respect, regard, and I'm going to go on the limb here and say resources that are going to be coming the way of Black and Brown-owned businesses in coming weeks, months, and I'm going to argue years. I think COVID-19 has changed America, Roland. It may be the most transformational event, certainly since the Civil Rights Movement, for sure, or the Great Depression. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Great Depression economically. It might be the most defining event since the Civil War. Never has the world ever seen, forget America, never has the world ever seen this kind of a stimulus package. The Great Recession of the mortgage crisis was a $187 billion bailout. People lost their mind over that amount of money. This is $2.5 trillion in one package, $1 trillion that went through the Fed window, and another $1 trillion that went through various orifices. I mean, it's $4.5 trillion. It's 40 times larger than anything the world's ever seen before, because we're the largest economy in the world, and it ain't over. There's going to be a need for another $1 trillion, in my opinion, and I believe that there'll be another shot for businesses to get access to this capital. I think you need at least $500 billion, maybe more like $800 billion to plug this hole. It's coming, Roland, because one thing's not going to happen is the government's not going to let America run out of money. America's not going to let American business fail. And it's not black folks get the benefit because we're going to connect with all other businesses. If this is a Black crisis, it'd be a problem. If this is a low wage crisis, this would be a problem. The fact is, this is everybody's crisis, and so it's going to get fixed.
So what is your advice? What is your advice to lawmakers to ensure those who absolutely need are not, frankly, at the back of the line, at the front of the line. When you talk about scripture, when you say, frankly, the last will be first and the first will be last, unfortunately, when you talk about money in America, the first is first, second, and third.
Agreed. And by the way, showing that this is class and not race, Roland, I got money. I intentionally did not have my for-profit apply because I was involved in some of the structural stuff, so I didn't want anybody to say I benefited. So my for-profit didn't apply. My nonprofit applied. My nonprofit got approved instantly because we had the back-end finance department, accounting department, our records were straight, and we were able to rifle shoot just like everybody else, our records in, and get in line and bug everybody to death until it got done. But I have a whole division that does that. I have 10 friends who've called me, black and white, all educated, have accounting departments, all of them frustrated, all of them got their money. It was a crap show. They were frustrated. They had to call 8 times. They all got their money. A lot of folks that you and I care about did not get their money, in part because maybe they didn't try, they went late, they went last, the records weren't straight, whatever. You're gonna get another shot at that apple here soon. Here's what I say to lawmakers: 2 things. One, this could have been avoided if we had the National Urban League, Church of God in Christ, First AME Church, the AME Church, the National Baptist Convention, Operation Hope. I'm probably missing a couple of groups. Let's throw the NAACP in there, their offices. Deputize them as federal community trust officers. Federal community trust officers. And give them the right and the authority to take the folks in their pews and in their client stables, client account lists, and counsel them and coach them, because we already have trust, in the requirements for these loans, and gateway them right into a priority list, to your point, with predefined group of banks or fintech firms or other firms approved CDFIs who put us at, to you say, the front of the line. And I'm going to say the second thing is, there should be a bucketed amount of money that's set aside in the next tranche, call it, I'm going to pick a number, $50 million, that is prioritized for African-American small businesses. We're dying at the highest rate in this crisis, and my guess is we're getting the lowest level of access to capital. And so those 2 things, if you did those 2 things, I think you'd see a transformational ramping up of liquidity and access to capital for our people. Just do those things. Pay the nonprofit groups to be the distribution channel, right? Don't ask them to do it for free. Deputize them so they have the authority to do it. Give them the training they need so that we're not giving people bad information, and give them the on-ramp to a defined group of lenders that put us at the front of the line for the application. That can be done in this next tranche, and I'm talking to folks at the White House that are open to that idea. I'm not talking to legislators, but you can certainly do that. Our friends in Congress on both sides of the aisle. So I think that's possible. And
right.
I'm going to go one step further, Roland. I'm actually pushing for a new Marshall Plan. I think this is the time to shove everything that we thought was important down a chute called reboot. Okay, and I'm talking about internships for all, apprenticeships for all, as much education as you can shove down people's throat. Black folks will never get reparations. It's a hard fight, but this could be reparations. Education for everybody, K through college. As long as you get a job, or you do something gainful, or do something like productive at the end of that degree, you don't have to pay it back, just like the PPP loan. It's an investment in America. It's not a handout. You're investing in America's people to reinvest in our society. It's not a handout. So I've got some other access to capital, using venture capital, publicly funded venture capital, heavily incentivized private capital for this purpose as well, to back a whole network of local enterprises that can become employers in our neighborhood that aren't rap stars. We got to be experts in something other than the arts, entertainment, and professional sports. That's not enough bandwidth to employ 40 million black people. I just love it. It's fantastic. Chris Tucker and Tip and all my friends, I love they're doing it. Oprah, I love you. But they can't employ tens of thousands of people. We need to back businesses, and I think call centers in our but Roland, I think so. I've answered your question. I over-answered your question.
I got you.
But I also think there's an opportunity for Black folks, if you can get beyond the surviving mentality and get to a thriving mentality and a winning mentality and stop being angry, because anger doesn't pay a bill, and think like you think, which is to respond, not react. We're going to get through this, because if God wanted to kill us, we'd be dead. This is a reset, not a reboot, societally. We'll get on the other side of this, even with all the pain. What are you going to do in 4 months? On the other side of this, 6 months, whatever the number is, it'll be this year. And what are you going to do? Because the world's going to be different. And opportunities, Roland, please, your people need to hear me, will be everywhere. While I'm sitting here, I just got an email from somebody trying to sell me something that I've always wanted at half price. If I wanted to buy this 2 months ago, it'd have been full value. They're now trying to give it away to me. There's going to be a discount on stocks, a discount on real estate. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. I was at Ambassador Young's house during the last crisis. And he sends his love to you, by the way, Roland. And his gardener, Black guy, I said, man, how you doing in the subprime crisis? You a lot of pain? He owned a little business. And he said, no, I'm good. I was poor before this crisis. So he said, I'm broke before this crisis. I'll be broke after this crisis. It's my rich white friends that want to kill themselves because they lost all their money. And what he was saying was that there's been a recalibration, and the wealthy folks were brought down to his level. Well, shoot, he's used to hustle. So now he's got an opportunity because there was a bifurcation on class. They were getting opportunities he wasn't. Now he's like, look, we all can hustle together to get this new opportunity. That's what I want people thinking about. Mm-hmm. Don't just get stuck on the frustration, because there's going to be a lift back up here, and there'll be two economies. This one, the L, that leads to recession, and this one, the soft U, that leads to recovery. I want us riding on this railroad, not on this railroad. They're going to both happen at the same time.
I got my panelists. I'm going to each one of them for one question. I will start with Greg Carr.
I think you've answered everything that I would have asked. Roland, when you asked about what policymakers can do, I am concerned about one of kind of soft underbellies in our community, particularly these very small businesses. You know, how can folks move very quickly to get, as you say, their paperwork in order so that they can go through that very clean chute? I'm sure people are scrambling now, Brother John.
Yeah, call me. This is what frustrates me. Like, I've been saying this to my people for Roland knows, 6 weeks now. Call Operation Hope. Services are free. We'll help walk you through this. We've gotten some calls, but when did my website crash? When Gayle King put me on CBS This Morning, mainstream audience, and made the same offer, my website crashed, my phones exploded, people saying, sign me up. I need folks who look like me to use our services. Call me, and I will, not me personally, but call Operation Hope. We will walk you through this process. I'm in 22 states. Services are free. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. But there's a lot of historic reasons why we don't trust government. We don't trust banks. I get it. Freedmen's Bank, I get it. We got to get over all that stuff because the money will run out while we're sitting here contemplating.
Right.
It did run out, actually.
Reese.
So I've seen reports about how this administration has given out no-bid contracts into one specific company, over $100 million contract for N95 masks, and it's bankrupt. There's a huge opportunity, as you said here, outside of even the loan aspect and the grants and stuff that were available in terms of government contracting. Are you involved, or do you know of any resources that can help minority Black-owned businesses, Black woman-owned businesses get in on this federal contracting, contracts that are being put out there? Because it does seem like we do get left behind, even though there's supposedly all these, these set-asides for us and all these quotas, which the administration is trying to do away with in the meantime. How can we be a part of that, or make sure that we're not left a part of that?
The lady's question is dead on right. And I'm not going to give you an answer you like. I think that all the structure and the programs and those are great and people mean well. But in a crisis like this, the urgent crowds out the important, and people rely on their relationships. So somebody in the government, not meaning to discriminate against you and me at all, trying to solve a problem, is going to reach out to whom? Their friends. Their whoever called, somebody they know, somebody they've known for 10 years, went to school with, I don't know, but somebody who they hooked up with, or somebody knows somebody, hey, I can get you these masks. Oh, really? Tell me about that. That's who's going to get this deal. So you're right. And you will find out about this when the dust settles. I want you to be part of the dust settling. Okay. So you've got to get a hold of Nicole Frazier at the White House, who is special assistant to the president for African American Affairs. She's actually a nice person. You got to get a hold of Jerron Smith. Roland knows all these people. And in fact, Jerron's going to come on Roland's show. He's actually a good brother. I found him to be an honest broker. We don't talk politics. We only talk about these issues. And he respects the fact that I don't want to talk politics about that situation. And he's an expert in qualified opportunity zones. He's an expert in CRA, Community Investment Act, and he wants to get you opportunity. You got to get to know these people. You got to get to know Chris Pinkerton at the White House. You got to get to know the people running the SBA, the people running these different agencies, because life's about relationships. And so, okay, you don't have time to get to know them right now? Fine. Send them a soft letter. Send them an email. Let them know who you are. Let them know you're not selling them something right now. Here's what your company does. Here's what you're offering. You'd like to have 10 minutes on the phone with them. Folks will have time right now for an hour conversation. 5-10 minutes just to orient them to what you're doing, so that when the opportunity comes around, that you're available, and let them know you're a minority-owned business. Play that card. And copy me, copy Roland. When you send these notes, Roland will give you my information. Roland, you could probably get them on this next call with the White House for Black leadership. The first call we did, it was 4,000 people. They'd never done it in the history of the White House, of this White House. And they were nervous a few weeks ago when they did this, but it worked out really well. And no one got political on either side. And we dealt with the business. You need to be on that call, or have somebody on that call that you deputize from your community, who raises intelligently, thoughtfully, not emotionally, the issue you just raised, and let them respond to it. So I think that this is my suggestion, is you got to insert yourself in the process in a way in which that's effective, which means I want you to respond to issues, not react to them. If we react to this and get emotional, we're done. If we get angry, start cursing people out, and nobody got time for that right now. Nobody cares, actually. You've got to insert yourself into the flow of literally billions and arguably hundreds of billions of dollars in the next 90 to 120 days. It'll probably last all of this year, but most of this money will flow in the next 4 months. Roland, you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. Absolutely. I think especially I've been telling people, prepare yourself mentally that we're going to be dealing with this to the end of the year. It's not going to just go away in 60 or 90 days, even though some people want to wish it to go away. Brooke Thomas, final question from you for John Hope Bryant.
And by the way, go to your member of Congress, get them to write you a letter as well. Congress has a lot of sway right now. Sorry about that, Roland.
Go ahead, Brooke.
Yeah, I just have a question. It may be a little bit of a reiteration, but I'm curious as to what is the concern or question that you're getting the most. You mentioned your website crashing after the CTM appearance. What is something that is representing itself as like the biggest concern, or something that you're getting so often? Because often other people have that same question or concern.
Yeah, great question. So it just so happens I have the results here of my call center, of the call-in. So this was before Gayle King's show. This is our people in 1 month. Typically what would happen is people would call in, they had one request. I want to be part of your 700 credit score program, get my credit score up. I want to become your home own program. I want to be part of your small business program. It wasn't 2 or 3 services, they just wanted one. Here's what we got. So think about 100, a ranking of 100 now. You'll think my math is screwy, but what this means is that the same person was asking for 5 things. Okay. 59% wanted assistance with the SBA process. They were confused. 47% wanted assistance with federal programs, like the accelerated unemployment insurance, like the earned income tax credit, which you can still get, and you need to apply for today as another $3,000 to $10,000 in your pocket that, again, we don't apply for. Go get your money. It's nothing to do with COVID. Go get your $3,000 to $10,000. Like the check that should be hitting your mailbox this week or next, and I can tell you about that, pretty much tell you how much money you get. But even if you didn't file a tax return, you get that money. But you've got to go into the IRS website and let them know where to send your money. Otherwise, you won't get it. So 47% of that. 33% wanted help restructuring a home mortgage. 33% wanted help with financial recovery planning. This is really smart. 38% wanted help with negotiating with their creditors. And 23% wanted help with student loan deferrals. And then 26% wanted help with credit counseling. So the lowest number here, it was my highest number a month ago. Credit counseling, credit score assistance, that was my highest ask. It was singular. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 asks by the same person who had members of their family with multiple needs. Mainstream America, Gayle King's show, they wanted help with the federal loan program and mostly restructuring their finances. So the problem has now become mainstream. I'm predicting that what I was doing for Minority America now is going to apply to 80% of America in the next 2 to 3 months.
John Hope Bryant, always a pleasure. Tell folks where the website, where they can get more information to log on right now.
Yeah, operationhope.org, Hope Inside Disaster, COVID-19.org. All services are free. Or you can call 888, I forget my toll-free number.
Take your time. Take your time to find it.
It's on my, okay, I'll find it for you. It is 888-388-HOPE. 888-388-HOPE. And we have an app coming out next week that'll be on on all your platforms. That's called Hope in Hand, Hope Mobile. You'll be able to do all this stuff right from your app as of next week. Go get your money that's still there on the individual assistance program. Make sure the IRS knows where to give you your money. If you're a senior citizen, you still get the money. If you're a documented alien, you get the money. There's a lot of categories, and if you have children, you get another check. If you have a spouse working in the house, you get another check. Make sure they give you all of your money from that program, and go get your EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit. Anybody making less than $54,000 a year, most of us, that's another check, and it's 3 years retroactive.
And that's why Roland Martin Unfiltered matters, giving you this information directly, because frankly, it's not. John don't get this much time on the major networks. But that's why we got to walk ourselves through information is indeed power. John Hope Bryant, we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Love you, man. Peace and light.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so very much.
I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications.